I have a few questions that I wanted to talk about. On the topic of hitting a plateau, that one's tough. The thing about learning learning a new skill in life, whether it's playing a fighting game, which is the thing we're talking about in this case, or whether it's about commentary or learning the piano or beatboxing or yo-yoing or rowing a boat or sewing, basketball, free throws, anything like that. Whatever skill you're interested in learning, there will always be like a sort of similar path that you hit on. When you first start, there's so many things to learn that you sort of just start to skyrocket up and learn stuff. Eventually, once you know a lot of things, there's less stuff that you can just pick up really quickly. And when you're first learning stuff, you have to think the way you learn things is like, okay, there's 20 new skills presented to you involved with learning this thing. And you don't learn 20 new skills immediately, but maybe you kind of halfway pick up 10 of them, and then you halfway pick up the other 10, and then you get close to being able to do like 15 of those skills well, right? So you're picking up all these different skills and you're learning things, but eventually you will plateau and reach a point where you feel like you're not improving, or you feel like the rate at which you were learning before is lower. There will be a point where the rate at which you're learning doesn't feel like it's the same because you're not picking up and adding new things. You've reached the state of refinement where you have to just sit down and be like, well, with what I currently have, I need to like take a step back and evaluate what I need to do. So whether that's like take a step back and watch some tape, or study a new technique, or try a new method of something, or start from scratch, or re-dump your skills into a different area or aspect of it, or maybe you just need more like work and focus on one specific part of it to improve and get better. Plateauing is very common. It happens to everybody. And for me, to prevent plateauing, or when I feel like plateauing is happening with something that I want to learn, the big thing that I do is I step back and I sit down and write down all the stuff that I can think of that I want to change or fix or learn or improve on. Like I write it all down, I take notes on stuff, I sit back and think like, okay, what can I start to do to fix these issues? Kind of like a preventative thing that I did for plateauing is I talked about it on my stream when I was learning Dragon Ball. My commentary with Street Fighter, I feel real comfortable with. But when I learned Dragon Ball, I feel like if I just approach it the same kind of way where I learned Street Fighter, I'm going to hit like a plateau or like a hill too fast. I need to step back and think about this. So with Dragon Ball, I step back and I would write down tons of notes and constantly reevaluate and think about the way I was learning the game, because I didn't want to just focus on doing it the exact same way that I always learn stuff. I wanted to make sure that when I was learning, I was focused on something specific. And Mortal Kombat's the same way. I've been listening to lots of people commentate the game and stuff, and it's very obvious to me that a lot of them have not played or practiced or tried lots of characters. I think a lot of people so far, to me, when I listen to it, it sounds like they played their characters and they played against other characters, but they haven't like gone through and just tried and practiced lots of different characters. So they're not as familiar with what the game plans are, or what the moves, or what's this or what's that, or the crushing blow requirements on different things and stuff like that. And that's why like I think the method to learning something like that is the same every time, but it is important to step back and think about it in your own kind of way each time you're learning a new skill or whatever it is. And that's how I deal with plateauing, is always to take a step back, think about it, and either realize you have to double down your efforts on a specific point or skill that you need to improve on, or try something new, right? Whether it's learning a new character or trying a new game for a little bit and coming back with like a fresh perspective, or whether it's just to write. When you write stuff down, sometimes you realize like, oh, maybe I am actually learning stuff at the same pace as before. It's just I'm at such a level now that there's only so much I can learn. So it's not a big deal. I'm making fine progress. I'm just being too harsh on myself about what I'm supposed to, learn.